vibes. It's not gonna wise. I felt pulled to speak on the understanding of masculine and feminine and what that really is, for all us to get a better understanding of how this actually works. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Divine put it in my know-how to do a expression on why we don't comprehend those values and what we're supposed to do with them, right? So I'm gonna start off on the masculine side, because females pretty much know how to deal with their own shit and men know how to deal with their own shit, but I'm gonna show you how intangible these two circumstances are. Now, first and foremost, because we're birthed from a woman, we have the power to absorb too. That's our femininity. The femininity in a man is not the same femininity in a woman. You absorb things. You absorb knowledge. You absorb light. You absorb the nutrients from your food. You absorb. You know what I'm saying? You're accepting to certain things. And that will be in a masculine way. So then your outtake would be that opposed and manifested through the way you move and your experiences, right? So that's the feminine part of a man. So when they be talking about, oh, we have both parts, it's because we absorb. I absorb the light that comes from the sky, goes right into my body and forms into vitamin D. That's absorption. That's a feminine quality, to be able to absorb. Women absorb, the nutrients or the light from a man so they can give birth, taking the life from us to give birth. That's what women do. It's a different absorption. No, we don't create, babies. We carry the light to create the baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the understanding of the man. So it balances out as direction. You know what I'm saying? It's the light that didn't have a physical body. That you gotta keep in mind, before it was in flesh, it didn't have to absorb its own energy. It was its purest energy. So when it dwindled down, it had to have counterparts of the value to be whole. You see what I'm saying? So that speaks to a different value. And comprehending that, allows you to understand your feminine aspect as a man. You know what I'm saying? That you're absorbing the right knowledge, the right understanding, the right circumstances, so therefore you got the right information to teach and push forward. You know what I'm saying? That allows you to be a secure guide. So you're not just absorbing those things, you're actually also absorbing your own light that comes off you and filtering that. You know what I'm saying? You're filtering that and then you're outputting something better. This is why we learn from our experiences. Now, in the female aspect, the female's masculine understanding is the fact that after she absorbs a level of knowledge from whatever she's dealing with, you know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be her counterpart, that she can be directional in her own way. She could point the direction via the experience of where she got the light she came from. And that's always been the process. So when coalesce happened, the light was able to download into that inanimate object and become alive. That's where you started getting your understanding of deities and shit like that. But before that took place, the light had to be inserted, which was a phallus aspect. It was always those two energies that manifest. So as she absorbs level of information from an individual, she gets the knowledge based off that person that she was absorbing, which is a masculine energy. So whenever that person is not present at that moment, she has the knowledge to direct the party, which will more likely be her creations. You know what I'm saying? So that whole understanding of what one can't do and what one can do is distorted on based off how well they absorb that energy. So the system played a role in damaging some of the women by the knowledge that they obtain. So this is where you get this whole process of, the government being your man instead of your man. So now you can have an indifference to the knowledge that you absorb. You ain't looking at that what you got from that person as precious. You looking at it as damage. So then that's what you end up teaching out. So that's where a lot of our arguments come from. You know what I'm saying? The fact of these different indifferent values to accepting of the knowledge. One thing got nothing to do with the next. You're not supposed to damage what you made a choice with. So now innately, because of that taking place, it's instilled in the child that way. So the child starts looking at it as in the same indifference. If I make this choice, it can possibly be damaging. So that doesn't put control in the hands of the understanding of making things or making decisions based out of love, right? So these are the two polarities that come from those as indifferences. And not for nothing, it can also be shifted. So a child, a son, can be raised by, a female that has the masculine energy, but she chooses to input it into that child her own particular way, which is distorting. So now the child don't got a format of value. You know what I'm saying? That format of value is distorted, which becomes the base integrity for that man or that young man to grow up. And the same indifference for the female. She doesn't get the right masculine energy. So therefore, when she understands how to put that out in the right position, she's going to have a distorted way of giving that to whatever she creates. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like a tree giving birth to seeds, and when the seeds fall out the tree, they fall on mold. You know what I'm saying? So they can, mom don't eat off that mold, but you're going to have to, because how indifferent it feels to a value. So it gets deep like that. I ain't about to hold this shit for a minute and go deep in. I just wanted to bring that little particular piece of knowledge, because that's basically what it is. Like, and you wasn't supposed to dive deep into it like, oh, the feminine side is a man, and you wasn't supposed to do that. You were supposed to comprehend it as something that we're capable of doing, you know what I'm saying? And that right there also gives you the respect to understanding the levels of what the female has to absorb. You can't absorb like she does, but you can respect the value of how she absorbs via the knowledge. This is why the experiences we go through is painful. Like the things we see, the things we feel in our flesh is painful. You know what I'm saying? We're like, damn, it hurt. So translate that to some of the things the female got to absorb in order to bring forth understanding. You feel me? Like, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? The woman is supposed to comprehend that knowledge that she got. It took structure for that man to even get that knowledge because of the things we got to go through to see and comprehend. So because of that, you were supposed to understand the plight of the man and how it absorbs, and then have to process that in a masculine understanding. It was always supposed to be understanding and overstanding in between both parties. It was 666. That was 655. My bad. But yeah, anyway, one thing I done do it next. I'm just saying though. So if you could take anything from what I'm saying right now, put yourself in the right position, because you don't need nobody dragging you, telling you do it, act like this, da-da-da. And then you got to understand. And if you don't understand, you're going to see your actions build a certain dissonance in between people. You're going to be feeling some type of way, like, because it's going to always lead to an argument. Look at how the young people today, they always want to go against the elders. That wasn't planned. That disrespect that be out there right now, people, how they talk and all that shit, they seeking attention because they never had attention. So I don't really get into those type of, conversations with individuals. When I see them start going left, I just exit, because it's on purpose disrespect. And I know if that is the boundary of where you are mentally, then you're not going to get your divine nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't coming, because divine can be like, oh no, they was taught all the way wrong. That's a long road you got to walk. You feel me? So I ain't going to hold you, just trying to show you something. Naga the wise.